My name is Thomas Shelby, and today I'm gonna kill a man.
It is a fact that things in life very rarely go the way you plan. This reality of life is sometimes ignored in the productions where great success stories are covered. Then the event falls from reality to a fairy tale. It is like a fairy tale. There is no such thing. Tommy Shelby is a gypsy who grew up in those slums where all kinds of filth is rampant. He does not even have a birth certificate. He is born on a boat. Yet he somehow manages to become the king of the world he lives in. And this rise is based on logical foundations, not on magic wands, for example. Really. Listen to the stories of people who have succeeded in jumping from zero to the top. They all say that the way to do it is to be determined. It is the most stale bullshit in the world. The golden rule of getting to the top is clear. No matter how much the imposters pose, the golden rule of getting to the top is clear. You will disappear from moral values. You will act interest-oriented. And Tommy is an example of this. He is goal-oriented. He does not care about ethical values, social or legal laws. Thus, it is explained that there is no virtuous way for a man who is actually nothing to have everything. These are the facts of life. These are the facts of life when you think of zero to the top. Whoever comes first, rest assured that they are not saints. They are not saints either. It's just that the I side of the business is not well known, because as long as the whole tender does not explode, the newspapers continue to tell tales of the golden child. In this world, the way to get from the bottom to the top is to bend the rules in one way or another, and it is this distorted system that turns Tommy into who he is. That is, Tommy is not who he actually wants to be, but who he needs to be to get to the top. He fights not only for himself, but for the rights of the entire working class, because he truly believes that the system can change. Then World War I breaks out, and Tommy wakes up to the realities of life. He joins the army as a romantic and returns as a Machiavellian because he sees that the order does not change even in those conditions when the world is going to hell in a handbasket. He, along with others from the slums, is handed a sphere and sent to the bottom of the earth to dig tunnels. In fact, this is nothing new for him. After all, the system has always kept him where he is. But then Tommy realizes that he has been in the same tunnels all his life. He has been in the same tunnels all his life. He has always been at the bottom. And this sharp confrontation with reality causes Tommy to lose faith in life and opens a wound inside him that will never be closed, even to be seen as inferior to someone else. It penetrates into him in such a way that it becomes a part of his personality. Look, for example, when he talks about the privileged segment of society where he points with his finger, pay attention. This feeling of incompleteness lies at the source of all his struggle and ambition. Therefore, he has a great anger against the order that breaks him. But instead of being carried away by his anger, he was solving the problem because he was reining him in with his logic. He was making a correct observation about the concept of self-reflection, means that a person knows himself, knows what he wants from life, and can make inferences about it. Tommy knows that the thing that will cure him is to move up in class, and he wants to gain power in order to do this. So the real problem is not to live a comfortable life, to live a luxurious life, but to change his position in society. Tommy is constantly acting with long-term plans in order to get into the big league, but be careful with his plans. He doesn't tell anyone, not even the most trusted members of his team. Instead, he uses a strategy that great leaders use when they are at a certain stage of the plan. Ataturk defines this principle as breaking the implementation into stages and moving step by step to reach the goal. Tommy is acting with this strategy because he has a goal that is beyond the dreams of those around him, to reach a position where they will be exempt from the law and even social norms. A goal that is so close to impossible to be realized causes people to weaken their faith, causes them to doubt, and leads to the emergence of separatist ideas. Tommy always keeps his plans and goals to himself. He doesn't let anyone get into his head. Setting goals and constantly moving forward are actually the things that keep Tommy alive. For this reason, whatever he does He doesn't stop. He tries to stay in constant motion because if he stops, he enters a depressive and melancholic mood. If he stops, he enters a depressed and melancholic mood. And in this period when he is depressed, suicidal thoughts are at the peak. And the reason why he is suicidal is shell shock syndrome, that is, war depression. Although they constantly change the name of this after the war for a while.
They did neurosis, then it became operation fatigue. Nowadays, it is known as post-traumatic stress disorder, so they have gradually distanced the issue from the war. So when they call it like that, it is as if it has nothing to do with the war. They are playing a game of perception, whatever it is. Anyway, it is essentially a psychological problem that makes it difficult for people who have taken part in this war to adapt to social life again, and Tommy, like many others around him, is experiencing this. Even as you know, they get into the mindset that we are already dead. The devaluation of everything is a sense of emptiness. Tommy decides whether to commit suicide or not by taking a summer tour. This is a very simple expression of nihilism, as the public says, should I get up and have a coffee or should I go and kill myself? So this is what nihilism is like. In essence, the idea that nothing has meaning or importance, so it is often misunderstood. It is thought to be living without doing anything and letting everything go, whereas not finding a meaning in anything is not a situation that prevents doing something, because throughout one's life, one constantly repeats things that one finds meaningless, and this is what Tommy does. He thinks that everything is empty and meaningless, but he continues on his way anyway. On the other hand, this gives Tommy the ability to act very calmly and comfortably under difficult conditions, so that in situations of intense pressure and stress, he can keep his composure and make logical moves instead of succumbing to his emotions and acting emotionally, which is exactly what Stoic philosophy advises, because in this school, the way to cope with the difficulties of life is self-control and meaning. Tommy has somehow learned to tame his emotions so that even if a gun is put to his head, he can turn the situation to his advantage by acting very calmly, consciously, and in control. For example, there is something he does very often in situations like this when his hand is weak. He does not pay attention at all. He starts talking about something irrelevant. That is, he acts as if he does not even care about the situation he is in, as if he does not even find it worthy of attention. He does this in order to weaken the other side's position and strengthen his own hand as much as possible. If it's just making eye contact and waiting without doing anything else, then that's what he does. But whatever he does it with his logic, not his emotions, and he doesn't act with concepts such as ethics and virtue. For example, his brother Arur sometimes tries to find the right path, wraps himself in a Bible or something, uses tranquilizers to calm his anger, tries to be a more decent person, and immediately intervenes. Tommy says, "I need your crazy behavior." In his world, the only valid actions are those that benefit his own goals, and the rest is just empty talk. This is an attitude envisaged by Machiavellian morality. Machiavellian point of view is essentially to approach phenomena in terms of interests rather than virtue. Tommy, as a good Machiavellianist should do, whenever there is a problem or a crisis, he tries to get something out of it. That is, he turns the crisis into an opportunity. If there is no crisis, he goes and creates a crisis himself just for this reason. For example, he starts a war with the Lee family for this reason. What he really wants is to wipe Bly Kimber, who is already at war with the LS, out of the market. To do this, he first gains a common enemy. He will partner with Billy by saying, "I also have a feud with them, let's join forces." Then he will make a coup against the king from the inside. The plan is good, but in order for it to work, he needs to take over Billy's security network. He can't go to the man who runs one of the largest betting organizations in the country with such an offer. Even if he goes, he won't even be taken seriously. I can't make him listen to me. He's probably not even aware of Tommy's existence, so he's ahead. He goes out and organizes rigged races in public and draws attention to himself and puts them on his trail. Pay attention here. Before UR intervenes, he looks at Tommy and actually asks for his permission, and Tommy gives his approval by making eye contact, because he wants to measure the level of Billy, whether he is a smart person or a gullible person, whether he has done research about them, if he has, what he has learned. In short, he wants to solve Billy because he develops strategies for the weaknesses, ambitions, and expectations of the person he is planning against. For example, B betrays one of his weaknesses by making a jab at Greasy, who is a waitress for them. Even though Tommy pretends to be oblivious, he actually picks up on this detail and shapes the plan accordingly. Thanks to his high ability to read people, his foresight and successful strategies, when everything is going well, B wakes up to the whole scheme and the whole plan falls apart. And here we come to the same subject again. Things in life are very rarely what you planned. But notice that Tommy is still cool and calm, and Deke, who takes the bullet, naturally disconnects from the world at this time. He is no longer there. He has lost his sense of time and space due to the shock effect. He is not even aware of where he is and who he is, but the moment he comes to his senses, he takes control again in that second.